I did a mock-up a couple days ago about putting the 24 volt Minn Kota Ultera. My skipper over here is giving me fits on the 22 foot C-dory cruiser, and I'm waiting on some material, aluminum plate actually. And I changed the design a little bit. In the mock-up, I had the aluminum going completely over the bow. Because of the crown in the bow, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. I think it'll put too much force up on that crown, and it's just not a good situation to have. So when we get to that point, I'll show you. But in the meantime, I'm going to put the trolling motor batteries inside. Watch out, baby. Back here. Come on. Come on. Under the dinette station. Come on, baby. Lots of room in there, so I'm going to put a subfloor in to level it out. It's a couple inches off. So I'm going to do that, and then it'll be a short run up to where the trolling motor is going to be. So I'm going to start on that battery compartment, get that taken care of. Well, back at it. Looks like we have everything we need. Now the only thing I'm still expecting is the battery charger for the trolling motor batteries. The star of the show is right there, Riptide Ultera 72 inch shaft. I've got some 3/8 stainless washers, quarter 20s, extra nuts. I have the plug that I use that's on the end of my trolling motor. I have 20 feet of 6 gauge. Here's the aluminum plate, 3/8 that I'll be using to make the mount. Here's the quick connect, top and bottom. I already have the bottom one on this trolling motor because that's the style that I use. Some basic tools I'll have is a drill, grinder. There's the trolling motor batteries I'm going to use. I've had really good luck with these. They're heated and have a good battery system on it. They have a built-in monitor on them, and they're also Bluetooth. I think you can get them for like $220 on sale each, on sale on Amazon. I've done a couple of these trolling motors like that, and so like I said, I already have the bracket mounted on the trolling motor. There's one bracket, so I could jump them around. This install was on a video. It's kind of cool. It's real short, but it shows you what I did. So I have a really nice Minn Kota Ultera. That's a Riptide also, and I think it's 52 inch. The reason I use Riptides is because at the time it's the shaft length that I needed, and they didn't come like that in the freshwater ones. So anyhow, got our work cut out for us. We'll see what we can get done. I'll try to documentate this one a little bit better than I normally do, and see if we can get a trolling motor on that 22 foot C-dory cruiser. It kind of looks like a mess right now. My initial thoughts were to turn this and have this coming off at a 90 degree, which gives me more of a flat spot over here for the mount. But I want to keep it away from when I add a windlass. But one of my goals here is to keep this mounting bracket forward in the anchor locker, and that's about where these stanchions come in. That way you don't have any bolts sticking down inside the usable cabin. So right now it looks like, right now this is just wedged under the bow cleat to hold this in place, because I'm going to set the trolling motor on here, and it looks like this bracket is about where we want it. We got to stay clear, of course, of the trolling motor when the trolling motor swings forward. So this will probably be somewhere around here, but that's why we're going to set the trolling motor up. And I have plenty of mounting space here. I'll trim this back, of course. Let's see what it looks like. have to move it further back or rotate the plate because it will interfere with the bow roller. We're really close there though, and the back looks good. Getting lined up, we can get it turned even more. That's looking really close. Sorry about that, turning the angle camera. So we're gonna finagle this mounting bracket back just about an inch or so, and I do have the bracket locked in, and that's what we're gonna be looking at. You can see the angle of the trolling motor. We'll probably even get it back over even a little more. I want to be careful because that's just something like that. Little bit of room. We're really close here. Looking good. Like I said, this will get cut back with the mount because we want this right here is where the shaft's going to come down. The head's actually going to be right here, but it needs room to swing out and swing in from the bow roller. I'm feeling real good about this. I think I have everything sitting right, and I kind of like that the stanchion here. I can build a bracket to keep this head from bouncing. It looks like I'm got enough clearance here, and up front I should miss my anchor should be out here. I'm going to verify that because if the anchor's hanging over here, I definitely have issues. But I'm also in from the bow that far, a couple inches. Remember this face is the bow, so we should clear there by about an inch and a half. Here's the anchor I'll be using, one just like it. So we have plenty of clearance. Let's show that again. Remember that shaft's going to swing forward about 4 inches and then down. I'm really pretty happy with that setup, so I'm going to get some marks on it and get to cutting and cleaning. I'm not sure if I'm going to cut this bracket off. I might put a line here with the stanchions. I'm going to go down below, but I wouldn't mind a anchor right here. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, so I think that's where it's going to go. I think I got it finalized, I think. One thing to keep in mind when these Ulteras, when you deploy them, they come up and they spin and then they drop down. And with this stanchion this close, I'll have to make sure that it's facing parallel to the boat when it goes down, or it'll hit the stanchion. But there's no way around that. You can't move this trolling motor out that far out from the bow. Well, you can, but I'm trying to keep it as close to the boat as I can. That way it eliminates deflection and vibration, and it stays within the lines of the boat. So just to show you, there wasn't a lot of trial and error on this. There's all my layout marks. Moving it around, I could probably move it around 20 more times and maybe find something better, but I'm happy with this. These magic markers are my mounting bracket shape, so I'm going to trim off some of these corners. These are my approximate hole locations. I think I'm going to have 6 of them in there. And by the way, I'm going to have aluminum plate underneath there also. here's my corner. I'm going to trim round what corners I'm going to keep. I'm going to bevel the top sides so there's no sharp objects. Anyhow, lots of marks on there, and I'll show you what the deck looks like. Coming around here. And that plate is going to sit. Yeah, it's better if I block the sun. These are the keeper lines right here, and then up. So I got plenty of mounting. It's flat. I am gonna more than likely grind this off. I don't know if I covered it in yesterday's material list, but 5200, 3M 5200 for me is mandatory. That's what I'm going to be using. So I'll probably cut this corner like I showed you on the aluminum. I'll cut that to keep that back from the eye. A windlass will go here. That's what we're looking at. So I'm going to start doing some cutting, grinding, and then we'll get into drilling. Ugh. Okay, you ready for this? Nope. What we're looking for. Okay, got that hit. Looks rough, but it's in real good shape. I want a little bit of roughness for that 5200. By the way, the 5200 is marine sealant adhesive. So got that done. That's some tough stuff. Good quality. Keep moving forward. Okay, time to move on to the mounting plate. Start getting it cut, shaped, get some holes in it, and we're going to use the same tool. Fun. I've got one corner cut off. I did the final layout. Sun might not be able to see it. I'm probably going to have 9 bolts in here. I know that seems probably a little excessive. Probably could do away with 3. However, I want it to transfer the load real good and get it down on that deck. So now I'm going to take care of that corner right there and this over here, and we're in good shape. I wish I had a bandsaw or a milling machine. If I had a milling machine, I'd flute this like the bracket, but got to make do with what you got. Using abrasive isn't the best on aluminum because it plugs up, so you want to get the right blade. Get it as coarse as you can. Continue on. Alright, we're starting to look like a mounting plate. Take off this little nib right there and flush that out. we're looking pretty good. Get my holes drilled. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Get the plate mounted. Alrighty. Going to get a couple of those mounting holes drilled in. I get a temporary fastener on them. And we'll go with this one right here. Well, let me find a straight bit. So my plan is to get a couple of these mounting holes, one of these 9, drilled in and drilled out, and then what I'll end up doing is putting deck screws, a couple of deck screws in here before I drill the through bolts. I'll deck screw this down and then probably align it one more time, double check that we got everything where it needs to be. This is my old junky drill. Anyway, you get the gist of it. So I'll put probably 2 or 3 more in and get it mounted up. I've got the bracket screwed with my positioning holes, my anchor holes. So now I'm going to drill it out, or for right now I'm going to pilot hole and put some 1.5" deck screws in, and I'm going to refit, or double check, not refit, but double check the alignment of everything. Then I'll go below too and see how my screws look. Core is nice and solid, that's what we want. I'll probably put, I'll probably put 6 in. There it is. See it suck down? That's 2 deck screws, and I think we're gonna have ourselves a successful project here. Anyhow, I'll get back on it when there's some updates. I hate to rush things. It's a beautiful day today. It was raining all the night before and yesterday. But like I said, I want to use that 5200 underneath here and on my screw heads, and it just takes a while to cure if it's humid and cool. Don't need it freezing. There it sits. We're on the deck screws. There's how the factory, like I said, the aluminum plate was 2 foot by 1 foot by 3/8 from Amazon, and that's the factory corner. Doesn't look like it, but that's the end of the factory plate. And of course I had to cut this corner off to match it, but that's how much it sits on that plate, which is more than sufficient. Now we'll get these drilled all the way through, and let's go inside real quick and show you where they're gonna hit. What my plan was anyway, keep it as far forward. And there they are. So that's where our bolts will be. Our 3/8 bolts will come down, and they're between the bow cleat and the stanchion on the bow rail over the rod locker. It's exactly where I wanted it. Okay. See you in a few. Okay, so I took it down and pre-drilled most of the 3/8. It's about a 1/16 away from what I need. I put 2 screws back in, deck screws, to hold it, and then I'm going to start setting the 3/8. Like I said, I pre-drilled the 3/8. So now, there we go. I'm going to go back, get these in, and then I'll be able to pull those, get those drilled, and maybe set it tonight. I might set it and then worry about putting this on the next day or two. We'll see what happens. And then I could also work on the battery box and try to get that finished up. I really wanted, they're dissimilar metals, the stainless steel with aluminum. It really, in fresh water, doesn't cause a big problem, and I'm going to have some 5200 in between it, but I could not find aluminum for what I needed. Anyhow, that's what it's going to pretty much look like on the top. I got one hole here that I made a mistake on. I'll have to fill, and it's just because it's so close to the stanchion. I don't have an angle head drill, so I couldn't get my drill in here at the right angle. It would have been hokey if I did it that way. So I re-drilled it there. Now I gotta scratch up the back side of this aluminum, acetone everything, acetone the grinding that I did, acetone the back of this plate, and then 5200 it. That's gonna take a while because I'm alone, and to get these bolts tight, I've been rigging a wrench against this stuff, so I'll get it. But that's the next step. So I have the bracket kind of cross hatched. As you can see, it's acetoned. You can tell the difference. That's all cleaned up. It's acetoned. Now it's time to 5200 it and mount it up. There we go. This stuff can be a mess. Fair warning. I've been asked too, why don't you most people, or a lot of people, would over drill these, epoxy them, and then re-drill them, and that's fine and dandy if that's what you want to do, and it does work very well. But I've also had instances where that's pulled out just like a donut. I think the biggest thing is keep water intrusion completely out of the equation, which is hard to do sometimes. But anyhow, that's just my take on things. So I like 5200 it. That's exactly what we want, how it's coming out on the edges. We'll seal that real good, wipe that down, make sure that all these are sealed when we get there. I'm having to prop this wrench like this because, like I said, I'm alone, so I'm down there going through the hatch, thank goodness, and moving the wrench and then jumping back down there. That's kind of a view. That's kind of what it looks like. Okay, I did one pass. Now I'll let it heat up and let it go down, and then I'll do another pass until it's totally 100% tight, and then I'll clean up all the edges, and we should be 100% waterproof. And there's also inside the drill holes. Okay, I think that's gonna do it for today. Might do it for a couple days to, like I said, I want that adhesive to cure out really nice. You can see how nicely I sealed it all the way around. Every bolt head, you can see where it's come up through the bolt heads. But before I paint this, I'll seal all of that, but it's all the way around. Stuff's hard to work with if you're not too good at caulking. Just make sure you got a can of acetone handy. That's about the only thing that takes this off. The only thing that dissolves this really after it's cured and is bleach. If you're using bleach products on it, but I don't know why you do that. And then we'll mount this just like that. And it'll be ready to go. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do while this is curing out is start on the battery system. Get that done, but I'll probably go ahead and post this work to date just in case it does help somebody. Anyway, in a few days.